That is true, sir, but service should also offer job. In India, we may have a lot of manpower which is willing to move, but our service sector will not, because everybody cannot work in the IT sector. So that's the point. But now, let me come back and ask you a question. Okay, I think we have discussed it, but why service sector? But we can revise. Why after 1991, what happened that service sector started booming, but other things did not? What happened in 1991? Liberalization. We opened up the economy.
Yes.
We opened up the economy, and then why service sector picked up?
We have a labor utility for country where they things can be done at low cost. So we provide low cost labor. Our service industry, so like China, they developed their own manufacturing facilities and they were giving services for those things. India, normally outsourcing happens. US companies comes to India and they outsource their not primary tasks like customer thing they give us to India.
Well, point taken, but it was easier to do. So when I wanted you to do a BPO service for my thing, it was easier for you to set up a shop in Bangalore because you just needed an internet connection, maybe a building, some space, English. This was there in India. Whereas if I asked you to manufacture a part of my engine, you can't, because then you have to ship it, make it, get raw material, technology is needed, different things. You could not do that. You could do the service sector part. That's why it grew very well and it started doing perfectly fine. But now, when we, so these are the things that we see. Why it lagged in the past? There were few industrial parks or zones, there were poor roads, ports, logistics, low access to capital, tech skill. It all took time. In 1991, these things were not there. If you want to set up a factory, you cannot just set up there. Most of the unicorn founders, and especially in India, and most of these things are tech driven, because tech you can start. You can have 5 people who find a tech, you find. Whereas if you want to set up, let's say, a manufacturing base, not everybody can do that. You need capital for that, you need technology for that, you need skilled manpower for that. Much more preparation is needed. And we missed that. Now, why the time is now? Why everybody says, and I'm saying, why now? What has happened now? Because in 30 years, many people have capital now. We have grown and we have worked. Now there are industrial parks, now there are policies. Now countries are willing to invest in us. Now we have realized what was the problem. So the time is coming now. And now government also has an impetus. Government wants manufacturing to grow, and for the reasons we discussed before. What wasn't possible in the 90s is now urgent, and above that also achievable. It was not achievable in 1991 because there were multiple steps which we needed to prepare for doing manufacturing. China was doing its preparation from way back. So China was skilling its manpower. China was already preparing its industries in a much better manner. We were not doing that homework before we opened the economy. So today we are almost ready to do that. Now what is government doing? Before I come to this, we discussed about service sector, and somebody was saying that you needed a BPO service, you shifted things here. So just a question, and this definition, I'm not sure is there a perfect definition or not, but I always try to understand. How many of you have heard the name of GCCs? All of you? Explain what is the difference, what is GCC and how is it different from a BPO?
So it is like captive offshoring. They are setting up their subsidiary in India. It's exactly like captive offshore. Whereas in case of GCC, they are considering it like an investment center. Considering the huge talent pool in India, they are considering it literally like from a service model. If you look at the service model maturity, it is becoming an investment center.
Service model to investment center. Perfectly fine. Your answer is correct. Anybody would like to add on that?
So it's a sugar-coated BPO.
I think GCCs are much more comprehensive than doing a single service or.
Right. I agree. Not actually a sugar-coated BPO. Not exactly that.
Sir, in case of GCC, we could say there is a small difference because GCC start with engineering services, later on they extend to procurement services, and these services bring the business in India. Like and creating the supply network and
Agreed. And I will give you a cue. GCCs did not start in 1991. Few did actually, but not now. Everybody is talking only of GCC. You will rarely hear a word BPO now. Nobody talks about BPO. In fact, even BPOs are now called GCCs. But the major word is GCC, and I'll tell you, it's basically what he said, it's Global Competency Center. So world has realized that there is competency in India. There are skilled manpower, and so earlier what people were doing, earlier what BPO was doing, I need you, my customer care, and I don't want my customer care to be in US, it will be outsourced to India. And you just need to call, you are just only doing that. In GCCs, actually you are adding value. Let us say there is an engineering design, you have a product, but you want to make its engineering drawing. That you offshore to India because you know that engineers are available in India, PhDs are available in India at a lesser cost. So it's a competency that is being outsourced. But of course, these are terms and jargon. So today everything is called GCC. Today even BPOs are being called GCC. But and this changed because we have come far. We are not where we were in 1991. We are today here. So now, what is government doing? I have written PLI scheme. What is full form of PLI? Okay. What is it?
Based on certain specific volume which a particular production unit produces in an annual year, government is going to release additional funds to it, but it has to be backed by investments in capex from the factory side. Then they should also be doing specific numbers of value addition each year to meet the criteria for PLI, like going from 30% value addition to 60% and eventually further. And it has to be supported by long-term goal aligned with the government policies.
Great. So, perfect answer. What we are doing is, we are calling it performance linked design. Basically, we want value addition to increase, production to increase, manufacturing to increase in India. How many sectors we are doing it? PLI schemes in how many sectors? 40. So we have PLI schemes in 14 sectors. These sectors are identified by government because government feels that in India, one, these sectors are important. Second, if we try to work, these sectors will improve. Now, examples, again, you can check from there. Where has it worked? PLI scheme, where has it worked? Electronics.
Energy.
Energy, I'm not sure.
JSW Energy.
Advanced chemicals is
Okay, you tell. I don't know the success story. It's not much talked about.
So JSW Energy, because of the sustainability and everything, they have been investing heavily into the wind energy sector, and now they are going to manufacture their own wind turbine blades as well. So they are trying. This is
And
again,
they took PLI scheme for that. Yes.
They took the PLI.
Great. Mobiles we talked about, and mobile Foxconn everybody talks about. Apple. So even I think today there was a article that most mobile users, Apple users in US today are using, at least this year, who bought mobile phones made in India. So that became a huge success story. Similarly, air conditioners became a big success story in India, and electric vehicles has been it has done some very well, but I'm not sure we can still call it a success story because scheme was fraught with some issues, but yeah, before we were not doing anything in EVs, but with the scheme, when PLI scheme came, and these are studied, so government studied that when you manufacture, let's say anything in China or maybe even in Indonesia or Vietnam, what is the advantage that you have? So government tries to offset that. It tries to offset that I will offset this kind of amount, and it will make your product competitive in the global world as well. So multiple, in these 14 sectors we started doing, and more than 2 lakh crores were committed. Now there was something called ease of doing business as well, and we jumped multiple places in EUDB ranking. World Bank comes up with this ranking which finds that how difficult or easy it is to do business in India. And we jumped multiple places. I think we're from 142, we improved to 63rd. GST came, banking resolutions came, labor code reform took place. Of course, much is to be done, but it came. Then there was an infrastructure pipeline. So when we were talking about what is happening in industrial parks, what is happening in, let's say, ports, there is a scheme called 𝗖𝗃. What is 𝗖𝗃? 𝗖𝗃, how many have heard the name? Great. What is 𝗖𝗃?
To build the logistic corridor, so where we can transport our material easily. That is a part of the 𝗖𝗃.
Okay. More?
Connecting industrial hubs to the port.
Okay. So if I I have to define Gati Shakti, I'll say basically it's just a geospatial platform where you plot everything and try to use technology to plan and see bottlenecks, find, especially in infrastructure sector, logistics sector, and do your development accordingly. So when I was in the government, we were given the task of plotting everything and geo coordinates of everything. A road is being constructed, a railway line is there, a forest is there. You plot everything on let's say geospatial maps, and then do your planning accordingly. So now next time you have to plan a road, you should see where the choking point is most, from which place maximum roads or cargo goes, which are the choke points. So your investment is in a better manner and you can plan it. Also you know that I should plan my road in this manner so that no forests come in between, no railway line comes in between. So it's basically a planning tool, but primarily aligned towards logistics and infrastructure growth. So government is serious. Government is serious in doing away the problems that industry was facing. We have more than 2 trillion rupees worth of industrial projects that are coming up. We have strategic focus areas primarily of PLIs, but EVs, semiconductors, green hydrogen, and there is also interesting. So now I'm coming here. So we have multiple versions of hydrogen, right? Green hydrogen, blue hydrogen. So anybody would like to define that? And you will have to wait. I can't wait. I continue to forget. Every time I grab it and I forget it. What is green hydrogen? What is brown hydrogen? What is anyone?
Green hydrogen is completely manufactured from the renewable energy.
Renewable. You need to have a renewable source also to produce green hydrogen. Correct.
Whereas the vice versa is the blue is you can use the existing resource to make the hydrogen to power the renewable product.
I'll take your word for it. I don't remember. But
so
I think yes.
It's either if it is not green, then it is blue. But the hydrogen is the same.
Yeah, the industry is transitioning from the blue to blue and then blue to green. But the future is green, and green is very costly.
Green is very costly. Even today we are struggling. So even today the efforts of the government to actually set up serious green hydrogen plants have not yet borne results, because technologically, cost-wise, or let's say who will use it, it's still not something that we have been able to achieve. Coming to that, when India has said that we have aspirations to be net zero, which year?
2050.
2070, India wants to be net zero. It's just ambition, and without these things, without green hydrogen and allied things, we won't be able to do that. Now, what is 2047? When we talk about 2047, what all we talk about? We say that economy will be 30 trillion, will be second largest economy. Which will be first? And I'm talking on PPP terms. Which will be first? China. And US will be third actually. So this is the projections show that we will be second, China will be first, we will be second, US will be third. Manufacturing will be 7.5 trillion, 12 times it should grow. By 47 it should grow 12 times. So we are in 25, we have what? 22 more years to grow, and we want to grow 12 times, whereas you compare from 91 we had grown 8 times. Now we want to grow 12 times. So this is the thing that we need. GDP share we want 25%. We want more than 15 crore people to be employed in manufacturing. Today the number is significantly less. This is the vision and direction in which all of us want to go. Now, what are the global tectonic shifts? Again, you can add, tell me, what is changing in the world? So, earlier when we started, when I was preparing for UPSC exam, long back, let's say 2005, globalization was the order of the day, and WTO and everything was going. But things changed. Last 5, 7, 10 years, things have started changing. What are the shifts?
So AI, like Gen AI team, agentic AI coming now.
ठीक है बताओ कि agentic AI होती क्या है?
Agentic AI are the algorithms that are able to like interpret and even take decisions.
Okay.
And even agentic AI control different agents for different activities parallelly. So if you, like it acts as an orchestrator.
Okay. Point taken. लेकिन अगर मैं global tectonic shift की बात करूँ तो शायद agentic AI is a model, ठीक है. But global, when I'm talking, so let me give a cue. China plus one we were talking about before. Now it's still, let's say, what was China plus one by the way?
After COVID, companies or the nations, they understood the volatility of the global supply chain. So they wanted, by that time, most of the countries or the companies, they were heavily reliant on China's manpower. So after this COVID, they realized that they should not be concentrated only on China, and they wanted to diversify their supply chain. They started looking for the opportunities, which India was one of the opportunities.
Very true. When globalization was going full blown and China was doing wonders, everybody was producing in China, and or let's say even this Foxconn or different manufacturing things. They always wanted to manufacture in China because China was cheaper and China had technology, and it was very easy to set up companies in China. But slowly they started doing China plus one because they started realizing, especially before COVID and with Xi Jinping and different policies, everybody realized that one fine day China may say no, and then what happened? So China plus one came. Why was it advantageous for India?
If you compare China with the advantages China had with any other country, India was the next possible best alternative for other countries.
Perfect. India was the best possible alternatives, and India was also in the global order, Western order, global democratic Western order. India fits in better than, let's say, China or many other countries. So even the global world order would want India to prosper and be aligned with how things are developing. It was also a counter to China. So India was looked preferably by many companies in China plus one policy. What is friendshoring? Something started which people started calling friendshoring. What is friendshoring? The name gives it away.
Free trade and rebates.
Tried and tested partners from
Tried and tested, basically friends. So countries started realizing that it's not the WTO norms and the best price only. I need to have my supply chain with friendly countries as well, so that in case something goes wrong, I still continue to get my supply. So friendshoring was a thing which started coming up in discussions, and supply chain started getting realigned according to that. Then ESG scrutiny started coming up, this carbon border adjustment mechanism and different other aspects coming up. So these things have started. 20 years back, 30 years back, these things were not which a manufacturing industry needed to consider. Whereas today, these are the things which are quite, you can say, ingrained in if a manufacturer wants to sustain. Because you have to show, you have to. So what should a manufacturer need to see? Today, I think there was an article today or yesterday which talked about different grades of carbon emission which a person needs to see.
Scope 1, scope 2, scope 3.
Carbon footprint. What all carbon footprint? So let's say I'm a manufacturer. What all do I need to keep record of? One can be, I'll give you the first one. First, I can keep account of the carbon emission that I am doing. So I can keep a note, and because I have to report it, and even in I think top 1,000 companies, in SEBI listed companies are reporting it. You have to. So one, you can report that this is the carbon emission that I am doing, my carbon footprint. And what?
So that is the scope 1 emissions.
Scope 1 emission. What is scope 2?
Scope 2 would be that whatever prior to the upstream of whatever the process you have. When that is like those logistics.
energy, what you buy.
I think, yeah. So what you buy from outside, what you buy from outside.
Whatever is the inputs, those are scope.
Yes. What you are buying, and also there is coming up. You also have to see the scope 3, basically the entire supply chain, entire value chain. So when you report your carbon emission or the carbon footprint, you have to factor in all and report that this is, and based on which you may be taxed in certain countries, especially in EU and multiple other places. So these are the worries that have started coming, and this is how the world has started changing. Now let us talk, and we have been hearing this, and what are the different levers that a manufacturer or this manufacturer should use or think about? I'm not sure how should they do, but how or what they should do. So again, we talk about big words. What is a digital twin? Perfect. So digital twin is basically, you can say, of a digital copy of the physical thing that you have, and you try to see the simulations and all. So you put in devices, you put in different, let's say, measuring devices in the actual machine, and you will know what the vibration is coming, what is the level of the oil, and your virtual machine can actually simulate everything that may go wrong, and it will help you in predictive maintenance. It can tell you that if you don't basically now change oil or do this, your machine will break down. So you have a digital twin, and now we are talking of digital twins of entire cities and entire, you can say, you have a question? So it's basically a digital copy of what it has been, what the physical product has. Now, in digital twins and use of IoT and different other things, there is also a term which is quite commonly known, especially in the parlance of World Economic Forum. It is called lighthouses. Anybody would want to tell what is a lighthouse?
Lighthouse.
Okay. Okay. So, what is a lighthouse?
It's a fully automated industry. Like you can take the HUL in Assam, it's the lighthouse in that sector, because they make everything digitally. Limited use of manpower. It will be fully automated. It can run at full efficiency.
So perfect. Basically, it's just an idea in IoT that this is the, you can say this is the ideal thing, perfect place for use of IoT. So they designed some benchmarks and they started saying that these are the these are the lighthouses which you should see and emulate and follow. If I remember correctly, probably there are six factories or six places in India which have been turned.
Last year, another 4 got added.
So now the number may be 10, but it's basically a place where you can go, and as in lighthouse shows the direction. So basically these are showing direction to the companies where they can go in IoT. And you have to understand and you have to realize what is useful for you and what is not. Because to control quality, to control your maintenance, to control different aspects, we can do that. Achha, again coming back, and and I think some speaker was mentioning here that tractors are connected and they talk to. Why now? Why it was not happening before? And when we talk about, let's say, IoT, okay, so let's also define what is IoT.
Internet of Things.
So what does it mean?
Connecting physical devices to digitalization. Like we are turning.
मुझे समझ नहीं आया, मतलब साधारण भाषा में बताइए क्या होती है?
Sensors connected to the machine, which sends the live data to the some controller or a.
See, I see. Let us Internet of Things. So now, what is Internet? What are things?
The sensors are the things, and these are connected to the directly.
Let's take his example. He said tractors are connected and on cloud, and then. So what is things here? Tractors. And what is it? What are they doing?
They are doing the operations of productivity.
Okay. And why we were not able to do this before? Technology nahi thi. So today all you can sit at here and all ACs may be connected, and if you allow Hitachi, it will turn off the AC of your home because it knows that so many ACs are running in the world where nobody is sitting, and I will turn it off because you have given me permission. And so basically things connect and they start talking to each other. For example, great example that he was giving, you can operate. So tractor, let's say tractor will tell that I am alone here doing so much work, please send 4 more tractors, and this message will go. And so these apparatus start talking to each other. What happens in shop floor, for example, you have a lathe machine. So in lathe machine, again, you can connect, a factory may have, let's say, 100 lathe machines. You can connect all of them, and then they will start giving signal to the server that my load is this, I will finish in this much time. So now how much more or less you can give it to me and how it will grow. So these things were not there before. Again, you have to understand whether you should use it or not. Some things will bring value, some things may not. So this has to be understood, but unless people use it, it will not be beneficial. I'm running out of, sure. Okay, so we will rush.
I think important to call out that the cost of technology has gone down. The sensors which were costing earlier, maybe it was more easier to deploy 10 people and say when the tractor is off and on, versus that the cost of technology has significantly gone down in last few years, which enables this ecosystem.
Perfect, Shivin. So agreed. Next, about sustainability, we have talked about, so I think we'll not spent much time here, we have understood what is the issue of sustainability. Supply chain agility, again we have talked. So how supply chains you have to realign, and you have to think, this person has to think from where his raw material is coming from, where his costs can be reduced. And during COVID, this became a major vulnerability for most people, because we suddenly realized that supply chain is an important thing. Then operational excellence, and coming to again related to IoT and different other aspects, that whether you are having this excellence or not, and are you reducing cost or not. Then skilling, whether your people are able to do that or not. So again a question, what is a cobot? Collaborative robot. So today when we talk about Industry 5.0, basically we say it's not only machines, basically people who work with machines, and hence we will have things like that. So you have to skill your manpower who can use cross-functional fluency, who can use human tech sector. And then entrepreneurship, just to understand what you should use, what you should not, and things that you can do, whether your intellectual property is safe, is protected or not, whether your design is good or not. That's how you get complaint. But there are human things that technology still can't replace. Whatever AI may do, whatever agentic AI may do, you still have to have people who will give leadership, people who have to give communication, ethics, emotional intelligence, and that leaders like you will have to have. You need to talk to people, you need to work with people. And Industry 5.0 came because there were criticisms of Industry 4.0. We were having lighthouses, but we can't forget the people who are there. And that's how emotional intelligence comes. Now what his factory can become, and remember the person, his factory could be 100 times the size. Manufacturing is growing 10 times the size, 12 times the size, and many will perish. Many will perish during this, and people who treat it right will grow, and the same has happened in China. It's not that it has not happened. So many entrepreneurs in China who came in 20, 30 years have grown tremendously in size. This person can grow 100 times, but he has to increase his productivity, he has to have a resilient supply chain, he has to use technology, invest in skilling, understand operations, and this isn't fantasy, this can be done in 2047. The factory has to be net zero, it will be AI driven, it will be clean, it will have global clients. But are you ready? And you are the leaders, are you getting ready for it? Are you preparing yourself for it? So assess, set goals, you can develop skills, you should plan ahead. 2047 will happen, India will develop, and everybody is giving it a very good chance. You can be at the right place. I would say you are in a very good course, you are in the right place. This is the time that India changes. Be a part of it and be prepared. Thank you.
Thank you, Anurag sir, for such a thought-provoking session on sustainability and manufacturing in India, and we are doing it. So now I would call upon Mr. Abhijit Pal, Executive Director and Board Member at Alphaxine Solutions Private Limited. With over 25 years of experience in IT and digital strategy, Mr. Pal is a respected leader in technology consulting and a passionate mentor to the next generation. He is a passionate mentor, industry advisor, and recognized thought leader in digital innovation. We are delighted to have him with us. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Abhijit Pal.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, sir.
It's an honor and a pleasure to be here amongst all of you. Hello. Hello.
Yeah.
It's an honor and a pleasure to be here with all of you today. I've been associated with VLM, this particular course, and I came to know today that it's a pretty old course that's there with Calcutta for around 3 years, and mostly as a recruiter. I've worked with some of your alums in my last few years, and also as a speaker in some of your sessions, I think over the last, again, 2.5 years. But this program, I think, is a little different, and while I have a presentation which is purely of theoretical interest, and most of my colleagues have already covered most of the points that I would want to share with you. But I'll still go through a few of the slides which are impactful and which will be useful for all of you, and would want to keep it interactive, and also want to, I was looking at the brochure given to me, and the class of 2026, the ratio of the batch size, the ratio, the kind of background you have, when I say ratio, the diversity ratio. So I think all of these will have some, or will need some discussions to be done in the course of this particular session. I'll try to maintain time. I know Prathamesh will be after me. So I think if I'm looking at this, most of the previous roles offered in 2025, while you are doing a manufacturing course, specialized course, you are going into management consulting, strategy, SAP consulting, business analyst, data analyst. And I would want to understand before I go into this session, why is that? Because you are doing a specialized course of manufacturing with the firm belief that our country, and that is why we are doing this session today, in 2047, and probably some of the data that you will see or you have seen till now will point towards the 30 trillion economy in 2047 only in manufacturing in India. If that is the case, and if we need people like you to step up to taking roles in manufacturing, then why does this say that you are getting into specific roles around consulting, strategy and all? So what is that you have in mind? What is that you expect from people like us to guide you in this kind of session?
So I would like to add a point here. So one of the main reasons that this is happening in this particular course, I would say, the companies who are into manufacturing. So one is they have an approach of flow from within and they want to develop their own sort of managers. And the second one, the visibility of the program in order to other manufacturing industries is comparatively lower to what we had before. So this has to improve, and that is why we have created this Envision as a summit, manufacturing summit for the last, and this is the third time it is happening. And that's the initiative that we have taken to change that consulting into manufacturing, and that is the only thing that we are here together in discuss.
And more perspective, another perspective can be brought in by our alums, because they would be understanding where exactly the gap is. So we have the chance as well as as well as students, so they can put in their words.
One perspective I have in connection with what Brother Pragadish said is, the consulting companies, I work with Big Four or consulting companies, they are very good in what they do, but when it comes to core manufacturing, they are doing some manufacturing projects to a manufacturing company, they don't have the core manufacturing expertise.
That's not exactly right. Because
I worked with two.
I come from Big Four. I have 18 years of Big Four experience, and we have two Big Four partners sitting here. I don't think that's the right statement. Any other thoughts?
So generally the trend has been the ease of doing the job itself necessarily. In manufacturing, the work environment or the work culture has not been as great as how or where it is, like if we are working in any consulting company or any sort of GCCs for that example as well. So the trend has improving or is continuing to improve, but it has not yet reached a point where it becomes really attractive for people to okay, yes, I want to go and work on for XYZ company because I am very much interested in what they are doing in terms of their future goal, rather than people are like, where is it easy for me to work? Is it in a shop floor working 8 hours in near to the smelter, or is it sitting in an office and just logging work? Is it 12 hours working on a laptop? So it's no longer 8 hours for if you're working for GCC or anything. So
no, so I'm not saying this because I'm getting this response from a female, future leader. But I was doing some research while preparing this, And one of the objectives of manufacturing as an industry in India is to rationalize the ratio of the diversity ratio when we reach 2047 in manufacturing. So we are expecting in India there would be at least 40% of women, women colleagues working in the manufacturing sector along with the male counterparts. So the thought process that we would get a better opportunity or a work-life balance or a ambience or an environment in a GCC or an IT or a consulting organization will probably not be right in the next 5 to 10 years. So that's one of the inputs of the research that I've brought out. Any other thoughts?
Sir, one point would be what the Indian manufacturing sector is offering as a role to companies. Can they offer the roles that as IIM graduates we expect? Do they have that potential or do they have the vision to expand to offer that kind of roles who are specialized in manufacturing? So are they, that is one factor I believe.
Okay. I'll try to answer that as a part of it.
And also, sir, the number of roles that are present in consulting is way much higher than the number of roles that are present in the manufacturing company. We don't hire as much as a consulting company, any other strategy company.
So what do you think, and that's an important point, what do you think you as a consultant in manufacturing sector, say for example you join one of these large consulting organizations, what can you offer, and keeping in mind the kind of expertise you have gained in the last 5 years in industry and 1 year in this course, what can you distinctively offer as a professional in the consulting industry? What do you think?
For myself, it's like, if I speak from my perspective, I was working in consulting, but since I was a computer science graduate, what I did was integration of manufacturing and digitalization.
Okay.
So, from my point of view, so what I provided is that my expertise which I have learned in the previous 4 years and how manufacturing industries are growing and how cloud as well as ERP, AI and how it's getting integrated. So I have done that previously, and after with 1 year of management education that I have gotten, I am going to do the same but with a management point of view, the finances, the growth, the product as well as.
Let me quickly go through some of the slides, and as I said, I would want to make it interactive. Please ask.
He has something to.
Okay, I don't want to take his presentation time.
No, please.
I think the perception which is in the current youth right now is like manufacturing is maybe not that space which is lucrative, which is not attractive. I think these days scenario has completely changed. So once you land up into this space, I think that's obviously I don't want to say about consulting is good or consulting is not lucrative, but I think that is much more to do, and that's what I think this kind of courses is offering. It's a right blend. Because when you have experience and how can you integrate that? Obviously, I will talk more about in my session as well, because I am hardcore coming from manufacturing all along. And I just want mind sharing, I'm not an engineer from background. So all along from the management and heading manufacturing all across my career.
Thank you so much. And you have a role model in front of you. So, and that is precisely what I was trying to tell her. That, while I represent the consulting fraternity I've been a career consultant for 25 years. I am not saying consulting is bad, as she said.
Yeah.
You are most welcome to join consulting and any of the large or boutique consulting firms. But getting into manufacturing or some of these core sectors is where we'll actually have the chance to contribute to the growth of our country. Yeah. So I have a few slides, and this is more of a kind of research that I have, and this is purely based on publicly available data. And the point of view expressed here is purely mine. There's nothing to do with any bias or anything that should be recorded and put forward. manufacturing trends in India in 2025, you see some of the data where the sectoral growth contribution, this is really important. We talk about manufacturing is a large sector, and you have several subdivisions or subcategories of manufacturing as a sector. And there are many ways of representing it. You know it better than me. But if you look at the primary ones, which says auto and EV is one of the leading subcategories of auto nowadays, which is probably going to overtake core auto manufacturing in the coming years. Electronics, pharma, textiles, chemicals, and this is purely India-based data. So the current manufacturing value of India is at 87.6 lakh crore Indian rupees. The workforce is 27.3 million. Export is around $37.4 billion, and the GDP contribution is around 16 to 17%. And these are again rough estimates. And when I show you the projections that we have for 20, and I've shown it, stage wise, 2030, 35, 40, and then 47, which is what we are discussing about today. While these are projections, sometimes these are extrapolations that have been done based on data. But with the policies that the government is bringing in, with the different initiatives, the PLI schemes and other things that are going on, we are hoping that we would be somewhere there in terms of the numbers and the penetration, and most importantly the positioning in the global market. So in 2047 we are expecting to be the third largest manufacturing hub in the world, with around, if I'm not mistaken, 30 trillion as a contribution towards the economy. And I think manufacturing will contribute towards 25% of the GDP of India. So that's the rough dashboard that has been extrapolated. I think key trends, very important point to note, and something that you was just mentioning, is the digital intervention. I think while I am a technology and a digital person throughout my life, but not because of that, we have been seeing increasing penetration of digital in the way manufacturing is being carried on, the various operations and the processes are being carried out today. Now, when I talk about technology or digital, it heavily depends on the sector and how the processes in that particular sector is carried out. Because technology or digital is there to enhance the process or reduce the cost, right? So essentially the key fulcrum is the process. And if you look at manufacturing and the different business capabilities, processes, sub-processes today, you would see there's a heavy penetration of digital, and whether it's IoT or whether it's AI, whether it's all the other emerging technology areas that we talk about today that are going on around the buzzwords, there's a huge penetration and there is a huge potential also. As on date, there is a lot of things that have been replaced by digital, and there is a huge amount of potential that digital has. But the flip side is, say for example, as a consultant, I'm just giving an example. As a consultant, when we get a particular opportunity for a particular client, the first thing the salesperson would do is a needle analysis of that client. What is that? We will look at the different competitors of that client, and you all would know what a needle analysis is. So we used to spend around a day or two to collect all the data from the various competitors, the websites, the publicly available data, and if we have some more insights from the sales representatives, and we would prepare how to, create a pitch for that guy. Right? So that's what a typical salesperson would do from us in consulting. Now, you go to ChatGPT, give the name of and ChatGPT is one of the just, tools that I'm talking about. Since you know the name, all of you know the name of ChatGPT. You give the name of the client, you give the name of the competitors, write a prompt appropriately that this is the data I want. It will give you the needle analysis in probably 5 minutes. So what is happening is efficiency is increasing. But think about the person or the set of consultants who used to do that needle analysis. So they are not getting redundant. But what we are trying to do is, we are as leaders, we are trying to pull them out and use them in something more productive. So what is happening is, even if you are going into the manufacturing sector, you will see this everywhere. Technology, digital, AI particularly, will replace a lot of these activities that are going on in the day-to-day operations. So you have to constantly, mature and evolve yourselves, learn new things, learn to innovate, and see how you can bring in this digital manufacturing shift. This is already there. So what was a whisper 6 years back, AI, is now a reality. Right? People have actually started using it, and people have started thinking that I'll lose my job. But that's not the right interpretation. You have to make yourself relevant to that particular industry through your knowledge, and then you will not lose it. AI is just a means of making things more efficient, and that is how we'll reach to that 30 trillion we are talking about. So this is again some data, and as I said, this is more of a research paper that I have put through for all of you.